anyone who knows me well knows that I usually go by Nikki when I'm with people who I consider friends. So I'm introducing myself to you all as Nicole Forrester because I feel that we are going to be friends by the end of tonight. And I want to start by acknowledging the Turrbal and Yagara people of this place that we now know is as Brisbane, as the traditional custodians of the land upon we meet today. But I also wish to acknowledge the Wiradjuri people who are my ancestors, and because I would not be here today without the guidance of my ancestors. And it is very encouraging to hear language being spoken by Clinton, and I hear this more and more by our brothers and sisters. But it also reminds me that I am remiss that my family does not have the opportunity to pass that language to me, and I have to go back to community and country to have that opportunity. And so I encourage you all to think about where you are and the places that you go and the languages that were spoken before where we are today. So I'm the head of the Office of Purpose. I don't know about you, but I reckon that's a pretty bloody cool title. Fujitsu's global purpose is to make the world more sustainable by building trust in society through innovation. What does that mean in practice? Well, about 15 months ago, the CEO for Australia and New Zealand decided to give me a chance to tell him and the market and the people who work inside Fujitsu and our partners and our customers and our communities what this vision could look like differently. It has multiple pieces, and today I'm not going to do the broad view with you. I'm going to do one slice because I feel that when we look at what the opportunities are, that there's so many of them, sometimes we need to focus on what the practice looks like for particular ways of being and knowing, and recognising that there's some really beautiful intersections, which I saw in the graphic earlier with the intersections of the SDGs. So I want to honour that this evening. So today I am talking about the Cherbourg First Nations Service Centre. I am honoured that I have been able to lead collaboratively with many others who I will go into recognising specifically on Waka Waka country, what has become an incredible example of partnership, and where we've come in such a short amount of time. But first, I want to find out if anyone actually knows which Fujitsu I work for. So everyone put their hand up, please, if you've heard of the Fujitsu brand ever. Yep. Oh, wow. Damn, you guys are involved. Keep your hand up if you know I don't work for the air conditioning company. Oh, okay, not bad. All right, that's pretty good. Okay, so who is Fujitsu, the technology company in Australia and New Zealand? Here's some interesting data points for you. The one that I like to talk about is Gaudi. Gaudi is the fastest supercomputer in the Southern Hemisphere. It's a Ngunnawal word, seeking knowledge. And Gaudi is hosted on the Australian National University campus, and it provides computing high-performance services for a whole range of things that are super important for sustainability. So, for example, climate modelling for the for the Bureau of Meteorology, for health and well-being, modelling of drugs, so how drugs react in certain places and ways at a super high speed, so you can actually get to things like COVID virus replication understanding. So when CSIRO, for example, needed a digital twin, these are the kinds of things that you can do on a high-powered supercomputer. So it's just one thing that I like to point to say that sustainability has many faces and can have many tools. You'll see we use the word Aotearoa. So there are three parts to the work that we do in purpose. So environmental sustainability, We use the word trust, but that word for us is about inclusion in practice. So you can talk about diversity, equity and inclusion, but unless you create trust with the people that you work with, the communities that you touch, the societies that you serve, diversity without voice is nothing. So I encourage you all to think about inclusion as a way that shows that you've built trust to start with. So the reason that we are committed as an organisation to this purpose is because actually it has become a part of our DNA. That means as a technology company, every piece of work we do going forward has to live our purpose in practice. So if we sell something, if we create something, the way that we do something has to contribute to making the world more sustainable by building trust, read inclusion, through innovation. So there's been lots of different ways that corporate have badged their what used to be called social responsibility programming, corporate social responsibility, CSR, and then in some ways now that's called ESG, although that does have still a more investment focus here in Australia. We don't talk about those terms because we talk about being purpose-led, and that really allows us to do things differently because it embeds what we do into our business strategy. So in a way, I wonder if we're actually a social enterprise. I'll leave that with you to decide. Ooh, I know. See, it's controversial. Yeah. Oh, okay. Oh, that's good. All right, we can talk. So there's lots and lots of things that Fujitsu does to live our purpose, and we're very proud of the way that we report that. There's a very colourful magazine that we produce once a year that kind of reports on all the different activities and how they link together and how that actually delivers on our purpose. But today I want to talk to you about one. It's very close to my heart. As an Aboriginal woman, when I was growing up, I saw strength and resilience and beauty and knowledge and wisdom. But the society that I lived in when I was growing up said that those things didn't exist in my community, and they weren't valued in the way that we knew that they should be valued. And so when I was given an opportunity to partner through Fujitsu's Office of Purpose to help change us as an organisation. So today I'm telling the story about Cherbourg, but really it's the story about Fujitsu and Fujitsu's journey in actually living the purpose that we subscribe to being in all of our parts. The two SDGs that we focus on in this particular project is SDG 8 and 10. And really these two things are interlinked because for many communities, not just First Nations communities, but if you don't have equality, it's very hard to have decent work and economic growth. So hands up again. I'm a bit kind of interactive. It's after snack time. I didn't get a snack because there was a really long line. All right, hands up. Who's heard of Cherbourg? Oh, hey, that's pretty good. All right. Who's been to Cherbourg? Okay, not bad. All right. That was more than I expected, so I'm going to give some credit. So for those of you who don't know Cherbourg, there is a few. Cherbourg is what's called an Aboriginal Shire Council. So this is a new term for a term that used to be called missions. So missions are a historical construct where Aboriginal people were moved from their homelands or country to other places for a number of reasons, which I will not go into this evening. And this meant that many people from different country were put into one place. But we recognise that Cherbourg is Waka Waka country, and this is the welcome sign to the community. And actually, cut out of that, which is bad form, on the bottom it says many tribes, one community. So a number of years ago, hold on, everyone who knows deadly is good? Okay, good. All right. So a deadly Palawa man by the name of Duncan Kerslake got a job leading this awesome strategy for the Queensland government called Deadly Innovations. I'm pretty sure he was the one that came up with it, actually. And that got funded, and now Duncan's job is to go all around the state talking to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander communities, entrepreneurs, individuals, to say, if you've got a bright idea, how can we support your bright idea to come into practice in a commercial sense? So the commercial piece is really the important piece to the Deadly Innovation Strategy, because at the centre of that is self-determination. Okay, so what do First Nations peoples aspire to? The same things everyone else aspires to. We want our lives to be better for our kids in the way that perhaps it was better some time ago. We want it to be better in the future. So the Deadly Innovation Strategy is the core of the foundation of the partnership that Fujitsu has, because it brought together SDG 17. It created the framework for the discussions to be had to build the trust, to create the momentum, so that then we could have a collaboration in practice. So you'll see on the screen that it talks about who the foundation partners are, but what's important is that the community of Cherbourg was ready. The community of Cherbourg knew what it wanted. It had aspirations of high-paying jobs that could become careers, of education that became skills, that became jobs, that became careers, economic participation that became intergenerational wealth because of education that became jobs, that became careers. So you can see there's this cycle of aspiration that hadn't yet been fully realised, but had started to germinate with other projects around digital transformation. So where did we get to so far? So there was a journey of building trust. Fujitsu was invited by the Deadly Innovation Strategy to go and meet with the Cherbourg community. So over a period of 9 months, I would trot out to Cherbourg with other people and sit down and have yarns, answer questions, eat. You know, everyone likes to eat, right? So we ate a lot. Cups of tea. And that went on for a while, and that needed to go on for a while because we, Fujitsu, needed to build trust with the Cherbourg community that we were there for the right reasons. Not because someone had a CSR or an ESG report to write, and that we were there for the long haul. That this was not going to be a program that came in for 3 months and made an announcement and then went off and disappeared. That this was an actual partnership and a commitment. So we got to a point, I think of this as the turning point, when the community went, okay, we don't really know you, kind of, Fujitsu's new here, but we're going to give it a go with you. When one of the aunties who'd come to 3 of the information centre sessions, so she was interested, but she's just sussing us out, what's going on here, this mob real? And she, in front of, a few dozen people in the hall at the TAFE, said, "Is this real?" I said, "Auntie, I'm not quite sure what you mean." She said, "Are you going to come here, donate laptops, provide training, pay proper wages so mob, us, can have jobs on country? So we don't have to leave our homes to have the same opportunities as all those other mobs, all those other people in other places?" And I said, "Yes." She goes, "All right, sign me up." So in March this year, Cherbourg, who owns the service centre, not Fujitsu, they are a supplier. We pay them. We pay proper wages under a contract for 3 years, and we have provided the proprietary training on our systems and our equipment, which now the community owns. And and this is the Emma, the deadly legend who's now become the supervisor, after just 18 weeks, are answering Fujitsu customer calls for level 1 password resets at contract standard quality. Thank you very much. For anyone who said that black fellas can't answer a phone the way that white fellas needed them to, I would say they were wrong. And for me, the reason I get up in the morning is when I hear the way the community talks about what this call centre that they own means to them. So let me show you in their words.
Don't ask me.
Autoplay.
Garu Nara Yumban, on behalf of the Waka people, I want to welcome everybody today.
A lot of good jobs that people are trying to get are basically outside of community, and no one wants to leave their hometown to get employment, and it's also flexible hours.
The call centre in Cherbourg is pretty big. We don't have to go anywhere. It's based in Cherbourg, community based. It's our own business.
It is so exciting because that opens up more job opportunities for our mob and more training, and even it can go into leadership and management.
And we want to really see it rise to where we can see the next 5 generations step on board with this too and keep it going.
And just a great opportunity for community to have.
Thank you.